everyone, I'm Rachel. In this tutorial, I'll teach you how to create realistic wooden texture using the Color Therapy app. I'll show you how to simply utilize just the flat brush tool in this lesson. You can apply these steps to make anything into wooden texture in the app, like doors, tables, even typography. If you'd like to follow along with me, you can find this image by using the search box and typing in flower bouquet. First, I'll start off by tapping to fill in the wood. So I'm going to use the brown 2 palette. On the very last row, I'm going to use the 6th color, so it's a light pale brown. And I'll just tap to fill in the wood. Now in the same palette, let's use the 2nd color on the last row, and we'll use the flat brush, size 100 and opacity at 25. Now you want to make sure coloring inside the lines mode is set to on, and with your finger, begin to draw long, straight lines, going down each section of wood. The flat brush tool is really great for this because it provides some really nice texture, and it looks like it has wood grain already. So I did do a couple layers in a few areas as well. Now let's choose a darker brown. So I'll use the 2nd color on the 2nd row, and I'll do the same thing, and I'm just going to choose a few areas here and there. Again, adding in more layers. So some areas are going to be a little bit darker than others. Now let's lower the size to 20, and I want an even darker brown now, so I'll use the 5th color on the top row. And repeat again, adding in another layer across the wood, and just add it into a few areas, following the wood grain that's already there. So they're sort of just long streaks. Let's raise the opacity up to 50 now. And using the same color, let's just add in a few little wavy lines, just for some interest. Now let's lower the size to about 10. And I'll choose the 5th color on the 2nd row, so sort of a medium brown. And now I want to add in some little rings sort of on the wood. For example, they're going to look kind of like this, just kind of come up and then have another little ring around that. So just little areas of interest in the wood. I recommend looking at a reference too if you need help with ideas of how it would look. So I'm just continuing to add these little rings. Let's blend that now with the smear tool. So set the intensity at 100 and size at 1. So go ahead and blend in those areas that you drew. So you want it to look very smooth and natural, so you can continue just blending in those lines with the smear tool. And just apply that in a few areas. You don't have to do all of it, because we want to retain some of that wood grain. Let's lower the size now to 1 and set the opacity at 80. Now I want to continue darkening those rings that I made. So I'm going to go over them with this and just make it a deeper shade of brown. This is where we're going to add in a lot of our details. Notice how these rings sort of kind of follow each other. And I'll use another really dark brown that I had before and just deepen that area again. And then you can use any of the browns in that palette to continue to add in some more detail lines. For example, if you want to add in sort of a lighter color brown, you could use the same brown that we used to tap to fill it in. And just add in some detail lines. So they can be straight lines coming down, they can be a little bit wiggly. You can also make little dots too here and there. And continue to use that smear tool as needed to keep those lines really nice and blended. So if I zoom in here, you can see how it has a really nice blend. It looks much more natural. Now set the opacity and the size to 80, and then using that really dark brown on the 2nd row, the 2nd color, just add in some shadow to a few of those wooden slats. So I might add it on the edges, just a few areas here and there. So now we have some nice shadows. And that's all there is to it. To finish, you'll want to add your shadows to any other objects on the wood last, such as the shadow from the vase or the wall. If you'd like to see more tutorials like this, don't forget to subscribe to the Color Therapy YouTube channel so you don't miss any new tutorial videos. Thanks for watching our tutorial. You can get the Color Therapy app for free on the App Store.